What's up, everybody? It's Josh here, back with another Kansas City Chiefs related video. And today, I'm going to be telling you why Travis Kelce is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, tight end to ever play in the NFL. Trigger warning for all Rob Gronkowski and George Kittle stands, Patriots fans, 49ers fans, whatever you want to call them. They're going to be coming at me pretty hard, I know, but look, I'm going to get into all the details and reasons as to why Travis Kelce is better, but you just got to hear me out, all right? But it's funny because, like, Patriots fans get super offended when Travis Kelce is mentioned anywhere close to Rob Gronkowski. Like, it's really weird. And then there's some people out there that just love to still think that George Kittle is better than Travis Kelce. He's just not. We're going to get into all the reasons. Like I said, I know 49ers fans, you're putting your, oh, but he's a better blocker comments in right now. Just forget it, okay? Just delay it. You got to listen to me, all right? So, you know what? Let's just jump right in. First of all, let's just point out the first thing that pops up when you search why Travis Kelce is the greatest tight end, and that is Kelce has the most catches and receiving yards ever for a tight end through his first 109 games. I know, very specific, but as he attempts to take the mantle from Rob Gronkowski, Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, blah, blah, blah. Also, that's really impressive when you consider the fact Travis Kelce missed his entire first year due to an injury. So that's number one. Tony Gonzalez is, widely considered one of the greatest tight ends ever, if not the best, but I think Travis Kelce is, he's already on pace to dismantle Rob Gronkowski, and he's already taken over Chiefs fans' hearts more than Rob Gronkowski, Tony Gonzalez ever did. I mean, Chiefs fans just love Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce even got to 500 career receptions in less games than any tight end in NFL history. That's crazy, and that's like excluding this year. It's just insane. Now, a lot of people, they love to compare Gronkowski and Kelce, but Kelce was slowly taking over the crown for best tight end in the league from Gronk's last few years in New England, and I'll tell you why. Let's look at Gronk's last 3 years in New England. That's a good stretch to compare between him and Kelce. That was Gronk's age 27, age 28, and age 29 year. What a lot of people consider to be, athletes, where they consider them to be at their peak at around this time, right? So in those 3 years, Rob Gronkowski had 141 catches for 2,306 yards, and he had 3 touchdowns in 2016, 8 touchdowns in 2017, and 3 again in 2018. Now, on the other hand, well, actually, before I mention Travis Kelce, I do want to mention that Rob Gronkowski only played 8 games in 2016, but hey, you know what they say, availability is the best ability, right? But anyways, so in those same years, Travis Kelce had 271 receptions for 3,499 yards. That's insane. And then as for touchdowns, 2016, Travis Kelce had 4 touchdowns. 2017, he had 8. 2018, he had 10. He had 1,000 yards in all those years, 1,000 yards receiving. His catch percentage was 68.7. That was his highest in those 3 years. Actually, no, 68% catch rate was his highest in those 3 years, while Gronk's was a measly, if I look at it here, it was a measly 67.5. No, I'm just kidding. That's not measly, but it was still, Travis Kelce still had a better catch rate, right? And Gronk, I don't want to take anything away from him. He's a fantastic player, but this just goes to show that Travis Kelce has kind of been the best tight end for a while now, even back when Gronk was in his last few years in New England. I mean, New England, especially that last season, he was a skeleton of his former self. Like, he was not that impressive. He was able to beat Hospital Eric Berry in the AFC Championship that year in 2018, but hey, what can I say? The Chiefs defense that year was one of the worst of all time. But I mean, Travis Kelce is just so good, and many people will be like, oh well, Gronk is just this fantastic blocker. Kelce, he's a measly blocker. This whole blocking narrative, and this is where Kittle comes into play too. Everyone's like, oh, but Kittle's blocking. Oh my God, it's so good. Kittle's blocking. Like, shut up, seriously. First of all, Kelce had a better blocking efficiency this year than George Kittle and Rob Gronkowski. Now, Rob Gronkowski this year, he's had better years, but I'm just saying for this year in particular, okay? Kelce had the best blocking efficiency out of any of them, okay? And while Kittle didn't play a lot of games, again, I say availability is the best ability, but here's the thing. Kelce is such a good route runner and such a good pass catcher. I mean, okay, look at Gronk's last few years in New England, like I mentioned, and look at Kelce's numbers in that same time span. Kelce was also playing with Tyreek Hill. He was playing with Sammy Watkins. All these really good players, and sometimes, that can help a player in getting attention off of them, but also I think you guys don't realize that Travis Kelce gets bracketed so much and he always draws the most attention. I think that's just more of a testament to how open Kelce gets all the time, the reason for his such good numbers. If Tyreek Hill wasn't on the Chiefs, what do you think Travis Kelce's numbers would look like? I think they would be even better, and that's really saying something. But Travis Kelce is such a good route runner and pass catcher that why the hell would you ever make him a blocking tight end? That's like Julio Jones is not a blocking wide receiver for a reason. So when people give me this blocking excuse to try and discredit Kelce, it just really doesn't push the needle for me, because why would you ever use Travis Kelce as a blocking tight end? And whenever he's asked to block, he's been really good. I mean, he's had some devastating blocks in the past, especially on those Tyreek Hill screens and stuff like that, those jet sweeps. They always have Kelce block, and he does a fantastic job. So I don't know what people are talking about. He's always had a very consistent blocking efficiency. There's a reason the Chiefs don't really go to anyone else besides Travis Kelce on the field, even on blocking downs and running downs and stuff like that. That's just stupid to use him in any other way, Now, one thing people will point out when debating Kelce versus some of the other greatest tight ends of all time is Kelce hasn't gotten into the end zone a ton in his career. He only has 48 touchdowns he only has 48 touchdowns in 8 seasons. Meanwhile, Rob Gronkowski has 86 career touchdowns. Gronk is kind of the barometer, and a lot of the other Hall of Fame tight ends like Gonzalez, they're kind of all in the 60s, 70s, 80s. But if Travis Kelce stays healthy, he should be able to close the gap on those numbers, especially when you consider the fact he's had double-digit touchdowns 2 of the last 3 years. I have no doubt Travis Kelce will inch closer and closer to that. He's going to be reliable for a very long time still. He's only 31. He's definitely got a few years left playing at a very elite level. Kelce has also just been on the greatest run ever of any tight end to play the game. He is the only tight end in NFL history to have 5 straight 1,000 yards receiving, and he also has 2 100-plus catch seasons in the last 3 years, and he also had 97 in 2019, so damn near a 100-catch season for the 3rd straight year. And then this year, he just has by far the best year by a tight end ever, and he should win Offensive Player of the Year. It would be a real shame if he didn't. I know a lot of people say Derrick Henry because he ran for 2,000 yards, but look, 2,000 yards rushing is something that's been done before. Yes, Derrick Henry had a great year, but 2K rushing yards, it's been done before. What Kelce has done this year has never been done before by a tight end in just 15 games. Mind you, Travis Kelce didn't play in that last game of the season. He, in 15 games, guys, 105 catches for 1,416 yards and 11 touchdowns. That is insane. Especially for a tight end. And like I said, multiple teams have stuck their best defender on Travis Kelce, go back and watch the Cleveland Browns game. They stuck Denzel Ward on Travis Kelce. Didn't work at all. He shook Denzel Ward to where he fell on the ground because he couldn't cover him. Tre'Davious White can't cover Travis Kelce. No one can cover Travis Kelce, guys. He's too skilled for the linebackers. He's too big for the safeties. He's impossible to defend. People will also mention the fact that George Kittle had the record before Travis Kelce, but also Travis Kelce also had the tight end receiving yards record, but the only reason George Kittle had it was because the 49ers game was after the Chiefs game in 2018 when Kelce broke it, but Kittle was right there with him, so he was able to break it based on the fact that they knew what number they had to break, if that makes sense. So, like, Travis Kelce was still right there with him, and now he's back doing it again this year while Kittle's sitting on the bench, which I know he's injured, but like I said, availability, best ability. I mean, sure, George Kittle has been really good, but he'll still have to do a lot more to surpass Kelce. And again, people will bring up the blocking. Look, Kittle and Gronk are recognized as such good blockers because they're asked to block so much. Like, for example, the 49ers, they have that zone run scheme. Kittle blocks a lot, helps out their running game. The Chiefs are a throwing football team. They're going to throw it to Travis Kelce, so why would you complain about him not blocking? Like, that's, again, it's just stupid. It's like asking Julio to be a blocking wide receiver. It's just stupid. Kelce is just absolutely unguardable. People will say he's just, a wide receiver playing tight end. Well, yeah, that might be true. He's probably a glorified wide receiver at tight end. But hey, he's got the big body. It helps him get open. Who cares? He's still a great freaking player. Like, you can't take that away from him. His route running is insane. I recommend you guys go and watch a couple of Travis Kelce's just route running videos and how he's able to get open even after the play breaks down, and how he'll be patient, stay in his spot. He won't get too panicked or anything, even if the ball doesn't go to him. Patrick Mahomes will just look in Kelce's direction, and he catches it almost every time. I mean, he is just insane. Travis Kelce, by the time it is all said and done, I think he will break 10,000 yards receiving by a tight end easily. I think he will close the touchdown gap. I think he will have one of the best yards per reception by a tight end ever. And his yards after the catch number are also insane throughout his career. Travis Kelce is the best offensive tight end ever to play the game. I say offensive like there's a defensive tight end, but you get my point. Like, he's going to be recognized as one of the greatest offensive weapons to ever play the game of football, and he's quickly closing in on the likes of Tony Gonzalez as the best tight end of all time. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time. Peace.